You are listening to the Co-Movement Gym podcast. The following is a conversation with Andrew Cieply. Today, Andy and I are going to discuss the Brookfield Classic Trail Run being held September 16th, 2023 in Brookfield, New York. This event is comprised of a 15K run or hike and a 50K ultra marathon covering a little over 4,600 feet in elevation gain, traversing horse trails, truck trails, challenging hills, and a beautiful forest. This course is 100% on trail and will challenge the hardcore runner, but is also doable for beginner runners and novice hikers. For some people, finishing the 15K will be one of the biggest accomplishments of their life. For others, it may be finishing their first 50K. And for some, they will be chasing the course record. Either way, it will be a great day spent challenging yourself and being surrounded by others on the same adventure. I would like to thank our sponsors, Native Path Supplements, Lombardi Chiropractic, Home Sweet Home Cleaning, and Thin Line Martial Arts. If you are enjoying this content, I ask that you support these companies in the description and take advantage of the enticing discount they are providing our listeners by using the code COMO15. That's COMO 15. I thank each and every one of you for being on this journey with us. Now, please enjoy the show. Andy, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great. How about you?
Good, man. We're chilling in the studio today on a hazy day in New York. It's some wildfires from Canada. The
Yeah,
smoke's blowing down.
it's really eerie out there. Different color.
Yeah, it's almost like I'm waiting for the zombies to like run across the cornfields.
That's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah. All right. So we have some cool stuff to talk about today with the Brookfield Classic.
Yep.
The first annual 15K and 50K race here in Brookfield, New York.
Yeah.
How did this come about?
That's a good question. What did I don't even remember, to be honest. But all of us here have been getting into like these ultra endurance events and stuff lately. And I think you had the idea because you hike the Brookfield State Lands an awful lot. You're like, what about just creating a marathon down there or something? You were thinking of a marathon at first, right?
Yeah, it was like, yeah, first off, it all stemmed, I think, from like being inspired by Bob and you, like, and Damon,
Yeah.
a lot of people doing some really cool things, like from the endurance perspective. And then last year in the fall, I don't know if it was Bob or I, but one of us mentioned it like here on like a Friday to each
Mhm.
other. Like, how cool would that be to do a trail run
Yeah.
down in the state lands? And then about 2 months ago, Ginny and I were hiking there and we hiked around Woodland Pond.
Yep.
And at the end of it, we were just talking, and Ginny had mentioned like how the pavilions there, what are those called? The lean-tos, how like they're just scenic and it's nice.
Mhm.
And then
Big wide open camp areas with picnic tables and stuff. Yeah.
no one's back there.
Right.
Like awesome. And it's 130 miles of trails.
Mhm.
And then I just came in the next day, and I think I mentioned it to Bob and then you.
Yeah,
And
and when you mentioned it to me, I was immediately excited because I always had a dream like 20 years ago of like bringing the first marathon to our area because I don't know how to organize events. Certainly not when I was 20 years old or anything. But we've never had a marathon or anything like that in upstate New York. We have the Boilermaker, which is an amazing 15K road race,
yep.
but never a marathon here or an ultra distance or anything. And when you said that, I was like, oh my God, that would be incredible. That would
Yeah.
be so much fun.
And Bob had the same reaction. And so I was like, okay, like I throw out a lot of ideas, and I just see what sticks.
Yep.
And I was like, whoa, that really stuck. And so, for me, I started running again after like a 10 to 12 year type layoff in January. So I'm sort of getting into it a little bit more. And so, just spent some time down there and created a really cool loop.
Yep.
It's a 15K approximate loop with a lot of elevation gain, super scenic though. And, that'll be the 15K loop. And then the 50K, they're going to do 3 plus a little more.
Yep. And I think our first idea, your first plan was to create a marathon.
It
but then
was.
you realized that if we did the loop 3 times, it would be about 28, 29
yeah, exactly.
miles,
20
something like that. And I was like, well, geez, if we add on 3 more, we got 31 miles. We got a 50K ultra.
That's your idea.
Yeah.
We had a text message thread, and I know if it was like on a weekend, you just kick that out there. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh shit. And then I was like, well, it's not the way that it would be. It's not a true 50K. And you said anything over a marathon distance is considered an ultra.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, okay, ultra. And then I went back to the map and I said, well, if they just go past where they start and do one more loop around that pond,
We had a couple miles and
yeah,
we
we had
got
a
it.
couple and we got it. And we did. And it's a killer course.
It's
Bob's done it.
beautiful.
I've done it. You've done a section of it with
I
me
went down
there.
there and yeah, you showed me the course and we walked it and I was like immediately in love. I'd never been, I spent a lot of time in Brookfield. I was house sitting for people down there for months, but I never went to the Brookfield State Lands and they are a hidden gem. They're amazing.
It's fascinating to me that being there is a good number of people in this area that are very active,
Mhm.
but it's almost like an untapped
Nobody
resource.
knows that it's there.
They don't. And it's Madison County, it's out there, right?
Mhm.
It's not really near anything. So I think that's part of it, but I think it's a hidden gem and it's very accessible. It's free, obviously.
Mhm.
And so yeah, we're gonna do a killer race there, you know. I just lined up oh yeah, you commented on that text message thread with that intro there, the Star Spangled Banner.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's great.
I won't go too deep with it, but
Nah,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
leave
super
some
cool.
surprises for people.
Little
Yep,
surprises, yeah,
yep.
for sure. So yeah, the event is September 16th, 2023. It's a 15K. And with that distance, and for people listening, I don't want, because I got a call today, I don't want people to think this is an advanced race. Like
Right.
for, okay. So the 15K, you can hike it, you
Mhm.
can, run, walk. That's what I
We're
do.
calling it the 15K fun run slash hike.
Yes. Or you, because we will be awarding a first place
Sure,
and
you
you
know,
want to
you can
blast out,
certainly run it competitively. We want to see like how fast can someone do this.
we're going to have an FKT
Yep,
for it.
yep.
Yes, exactly. Right now, Bob has that. And so, yeah, so for people listening, whether you are a runner or into trails or not, it can be a very casual hike with a spouse or a
This
kid.
event is for anybody.
It's
It's
for
going to be a
anybody.
fun day out, whether you want to be competitive and just go fast and race, or if you just want to go for a great walk in the woods with friends. It's going to be, it's for everybody.
I like staging it as it's like the first annual. And so every year that goes by, everyone can try to better themselves,
Mhm.
right? So let's say you did a pure walk and you did the 15K and it took you 2 hours and 50 minutes,
Yep.
The next year, you're in a
Maybe add
little
in a
better
little
shape.
jogging.
Yes, exactly. And you go like 232, right? So it's sort of designed in my mind like to continually push the limits, right, in terms of what everyone's capable of. This year will be small. It's the first
Mhm.
annual. We're not doing much marketing. We're doing no paid marketing.
Right.
So we're I think we have a pretty good turnout. But as the years go on, I can see it being very intriguing for people
Mhm.
to continue not only to better themselves, but then we have course records every year, right?
Yeah,
To start to go
we'll
after.
continue to grow this and make it more and more interesting. And yeah,
Because I think it can become a pretty special race, being that it's all trail
mhm.
and the elevation is about 46 to
It's
4,800. So it's no joke.
well, it's about 1,500 feet of elevation for the 15K.
It's
If you're
correct.
doing the 50 kilometer, so you're doing 3 loops, then it's about 45 or 4,600 feet. Yep.
Yes. Well, yes, that last 2.7, I think, has maybe another 300 in
Yeah,
there.
right.
Yeah, because it's around the pond
Yep.
and you go up,
So almost
down,
5,000 feet,
back up and back down. Yeah.
which is
So
significant.
yeah, I've done the 15K twice and I'm not a great runner, but it smokes me
Well, and
pretty
I
good.
can tell you this does have the potential to become a really special race because I've done a lot of races and stuff, and after seeing the terrain and the trail, like I can tell this is going to be a really fun course, the kind of thing that people look forward to coming back to every year.
Yeah.
It's the sort of trails that you want to run on. It's really nice.
I agree. I agree. And it's multiple different features. There
Mhm.
are some areas where you can really pick it up. There are some areas that will crush you.
Yep.
And it's just a whole
There's
mix.
some steep uphills, some steep downhills, gradual ups and downs. There's some straights.
Yep.
There's horse trails, single track. There's wide truck trails. Yeah, a whole mix of things.
Yeah.
And depending on the weather we get, there might be mud, there might not be.
Yeah, so that's a good point. Let's not be discouraged if the weather's not perfect, because
Mhm.
remember, if we're athletes, we're into endurance, nature, outdoors, you you're coming in no matter what, you
That's
know?
part of the fun of these ultra events is these events are an adventure. It's not like running your local 5K, which is kind of more of like a fitness challenge or something
Sure.
typically. Ultra events are an adventure. You're just going to deal with whatever's out there, and weather is part of it.
And everyone has to deal
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
same situation.
yep,
So yeah. All right. So yeah, that's the 15K, 50K, obviously 31 miles, give or take, half a mile. Everyone's GPS is saying stuff different. Like
I
I've done the
know.
15K a few times and I got two different readings.
Okay.
Bob did it, got different than mine. So whatever. It's about a
We
50K.
will over the course of the summer because we have 2 to 3 months leading
Mhm.
up to this, and we're going to be out there doing little bits of trail work and like marking the course and figuring things out and stuff. So we'll get more and more accurate readings
I
and
agree.
eventually put on the page like exactly what the exact mileage is and stuff as we kind of can average out these GPS readings.
Yes, for sure. Yes. So the interesting thing when we were designing this is it's three loops plus a little more. So a loop race allows you to refuel
Mhm.
each loop, which is great. There will be one or two aid stations out there also on each loop. And you can question whether you want to go back out.
Yep.
Now, there is a 9 hour time limit on the whole thing,
Yep.
which we need
Mhm.
only because A, we don't want to be out there all night. And B, I have down here, you can walk 3.5 miles per hour for 9 hours, and that's 50K. And
Yep.
so,
I think to beat the what is it, the 9 hour cutoff, I think you would have to do 18-minute miles for the 50K. If
there
you
you
if you
go.
did an
Sure.
18-minute mile pace, that would be 9 hours
Yep.
for 50 kilometers.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Which is totally reasonable. Yep.
I think so. And, who knows in the future? I think it was Bob or someone at that race you guys just did
Mhm.
mentioned like having loop cutoffs,
Yeah. So
not this year.
right, not this year. And sometimes what they do is there's what are called soft cutoffs and
Mhm.
hard cutoffs. So a soft cutoff is like maybe the soft cutoff for each loop is 3 hours. So 3 hours for the first loop and 6 hours for the second loop.
Yep.
But by a soft cutoff, what they mean is they'll tell the person coming through, okay, you're over the 3 hour mark. You can continue if you want to, if you feel like you can speed it up or whatever. But just to let you know, you're behind like pace for the hard cutoff at the
Mhm.
end.
Okay.
So maybe you want to continue or maybe not.
Sure.
So we would kind of, if there are people that are kind of on the border like that, we'll
Mhm.
let them know like
Where they
where they
stand.
stand, and they can decide whether they want to continue or not.
Yeah, because from what I've seen, very few people really pick it up at the end.
Right. Yeah, typically not.
Yeah, no, it's normally like the wheels fall
Yeah,
off
yeah,
type thing.
definitely.
That you're considering crawling to the finish.
Yep.
All right. So elevation gain, we talked about who's the event for. We talked about starts at 8:30, get there early. Don't stroll in at 8:20. I'd recommend 7:30,
Yep.
warm up, chill out, get
Yeah,
your stuff ready.
typically show up to events like this anywhere from half an hour to an hour before the start. Gives you time to kind of warm up and take pictures of people and
Yep.
have a little conversation and get ready to go.
Yeah.
Fill up your water bottles and stuff.
Also plan for, and we'll talk about this later in the talk, is the parking.
Mhm.
This is way back, probably 5-6 miles back into the state forest
Yep.
on truck trails,
Yep.
and we're going to have great signage
Mhm.
for people to follow. But again, like it's, unless you really know where you're going, plan early.
Yep. Yep. Definitely.
All right, so the awards and the social at the end will be about 5:30, give or take, like campfire. We'll have obviously drinks there and stuff. If you want
Yep, because
food, bring your own food.
this will be in mid-September, so I don't know when sunset will be around that time, but probably around what 6 p.m. or something or
I
five.
don't know. June 21st it flips. So July,
Right.
August, September, 3 months on the other end. Yeah, I would say we're safe
Y-
till 7:30.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get like a nice bonfire going
Yep.
around like whatever 5 p.m. or
All
something
day. I
all
think
day
we'll
if we
keep the
can.
fire stoked. Yeah, that'd
Cool.
be cool
Awesome.
if we have enough firewood.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think so. That'd
Yep.
be ideal.
Sure.
And so one thing, I've been thinking about is if the 15K comes in at 3 hours, let's say,
Mhm.
that's only 11:30.
Right.
So they have choices. They can hang out for the day. They can leave.
Mhm.
They can leave and come back.
Yep.
That's also cool.
Absolutely.
The cruise-in's going in on Waterville the same
Yeah, so
day.
there's a nice event in Waterville, which is a town just 15 minutes away from where the race is. It's
Yep.
called Cruisin' into Waterville, and they have a bunch of food and a car show and stuff. So if people want to do the 15K race in the morning and then just go enjoy Cruisin' that event, they can go do that.
I think that's great, because the gap there is going to be pretty big.
Yeah, yeah.
The obviously we'll be helping out, and staying on task with the ultra runners, as they
Hmm.
go through the day.
Yeah.
But as far as the 15K, yeah, those would be some options,
Yep.
for people. All right, porta potties. We're going to have one or two in the parking lot, which is also where it's starting. And then there is an outhouse at the finish line about 3/4 of a mile from the start line. Okay.
Yep.
So there's no changing rooms or showers.
Yep. That's important. Yep. No changing rooms and showers, which is typical. There's usually not at these things, but
Sure.
something that people might want to know is that there are no actual like bathrooms with hot running water.
Yeah. Bring your wet wipes.
Yeah, yeah.
Bring your own food. This year, we're not going to be doing that. Maybe in the future, we get like a vendor or something, like Ray Brothers Barbecue or
Yep.
something. It's just too much. First year, we're learning.
I do think at the aid stations we should provide some snacks,
Yeah,
and
fruit, right, and
yep,
stuff.
I had this idea. Like for example, on the ultra marathon that I just did, I fueled myself off of fruit snacks,
Yeah,
and I'm already happy to buy like several boxes of fruit snacks so we can just
sure.
have packages of them that people can grab at the aid stations.
Yep.
Bananas are great, just halves of bananas that people can take with them on the trail. So a couple of little easy things like that we'll have at the aid stations.
Yeah, I love that for sure. We want some options for
Yep.
people,
Yep.
especially if they're
But
not
as
carrying
far
any
as if people
fuel,
get done with the race and they're expecting like
a
a
barbecue.
post race meal with like barbecue chicken, all that kind of stuff, that's
Yeah.
not going to be there. So bring your own food for refueling afterwards
For sure.
or
I can
recovering.
see in the future, like the race you guys just did,
Hmm.
they had the what were they, like little taco
Yeah,
type
with
wraps?
pulled pork
Yeah.
tacos and stuff.
I can see that in the future, like Ray Brothers Barbecue or something.
And that's our idea behind this is we
Yep.
want to, this is our first time, but we're going to grow it each year, and the bigger that it gets, we'll get more sponsors and stuff, and we'll bring in more things like a barbecue or who knows what. Yep.
Band, a
Yeah.
live
Yeah,
band.
sure.
We can spice it
we'll,
up as it
we'll
goes
definitely have
along.
music at this one, but it's going to be off a Bluetooth speaker this time.
Correct. Yeah, a Yui boom.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. Food, water, drinks, campfire, beautiful scenery. Admission, $40. Pretty cheap for a race like this.
Very.
Yeah, how much was the one you just did? The
I
race?
want to say it was like 130,
Yeah.
$140. Typically, an
Yeah.
ultra marathon is going to be at least $100,
Okay.
up to 200.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So we
this is
wanted
nice and
to
cheap.
keep this. Yeah, we wanted to keep this lower,
Yep.
this year at least.
Yeah.
And then also, if you want, we're going to do a donation probably to Madison School with all elementary age school books.
I really love that idea.
Encourage reading,
Hmm.
right? Schools are underfunded a lot,
Yep.
so I just think that's sort of cool and
And so what that
important.
means
So
is we're asking every participant that, and it's voluntary. They don't have to do this, but anyone who's willing to, we'd like them to bring a book for an elementary school kid and just donate that, and we'll deliver it to the schools.
yeah,
Yep.
that would be really cool.
Yeah.
And let's see, price increase 715. So why are we doing that? To get people to sign up.
Yeah.
They're already signing up. They're coming in. We got another one today.
Yeah, but just for logistics for us,
Yeah.
we like to know how many people are going to be there so we can prepare adequately,
Yep.
and we don't want everyone to sign up on the last week.
Well, that's common.
Very common.
It's with these races, the more people I talk to, the sign up process is so unknown
Mhm.
because that's just the nature of humans. Like they put it off because they're training and they want to see how things go. And you and I have talked about this
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I'm very similar. Also, I have a triathlon in like 2.5 weeks. I haven't signed up for it yet.
right. Yeah.
So I might,
If an event gives you until the last minute to
they
sign up,
do on this
then you
one.
might as well wait until the last minute. So what we're
Yeah.
going to do is sign up early, and you get the low price of $40. July 15th, you said
Yeah.
the price will increase,
Yeah.
and maybe there'll be a cutoff where you can't sign off. sign up like 2 weeks before, or maybe the price goes up again.
It's going to be a cutoff probably, only because we can't have an unlimited number of people.
Right.
I had to work with the DEC to get
And,
permits
and,
and stuff.
and we have to order enough porta potties for people and stuff. And if we get
Yes.
like 30 people signing up 3 days before, now all of a sudden we don't have enough amenities.
Metals, like
Yep.
different kinds of things.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of thought there.
Yep.
And so, yeah, sign up, don't put it off. It'll help us out. Accommodations. So there's really great campgrounds here. If you want to throw up a tent or bring, a camper, you can do
There
that.
are phenomenal campgrounds there. I had written down in my notes here to mention the Cherry Ridge
Yeah.
campground.
Yeah.
I believe Cherry Ridge is like less than a mile from the start of the
Oh
race.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. I love
So
it there.
you can like walk from that right to the start.
Yep.
It's free, so no cost to camp at any of these places. There's 9 beautiful campsites there,
Mhm.
and obviously, if you're like it's an event like this, people don't mind sharing sites typically, so you can
Yep.
have even more than 9 camps there.
Mhm.
It's got 2 well-maintained porta potties
Oh, it does
at
that?
that site. Yep.
Oh, no, wait.
So,
Porta potties or outhouses?
from the review that I read
Yep.
of the Cherry Ridge campground,
Mhm.
it said 2 well-maintained porta johns.
Yeah, and that's probably right because in the summertime that does get used a lot by the horse people, so they probably keep them there.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yep.
wow. Yeah, that's cool. I think it could definitely be a cool weekend for people. Like
Mhm.
if they wanted to camp, do the event, camp again, and
I think it might also be possible. I was going to check with you on this, but to camp a few people, I'm not sure how many, but some people at the finish, even because we
Mhm,
are like the finish of the race is on beautiful woodland pond, and it's a
mhm.
big wide open area where we'll have the ceremony and the bonfire and everything. But there's enough room there for tents and stuff.
Yeah.
So you saw at the ultra marathon that I was just at this past weekend, there were people with tents right there at the finish.
Yep.
Some people like just camped there, rolled out of their tent, did the race. You
Yeah.
know, so we might have that as an option too. There's going to be good
Yeah.
camping options.
Yeah, there's a lean-to
Yep.
there, which is really nice. And yeah, I don't know I know in the Adirondack Park you need a designated campsite. I don't know, is that a designated campsite? It could be, could not be. I'm not sure. It has a fire pit,
I'm
has a
not.
picnic table.
That's a good
So
question.
it very well could
It could
be.
be it could be a designated campsite.
Yeah. But yeah,
It's got a lean-to,
it has a
so
lean-to, exactly. So I would say,
yep.
Look into it, but
And
you're
the rules are
probably
different
okay.
for because isn't the Adirondack Park? That's a national park, right? Is it?
State,
Oh, it's state. Okay, so it's the same
mhm,
as Brookfield.
state lands,
You're
yeah.
right. You're right.
Yep. All right. So let's see. Accommodate. Oh, and then shout out to Dan Williams in Deansboro.
Yeah.
I have on here the Blueberry Brook
Yep.
Farm Resort. It's in Deansboro. The great rooms, amazing facility. We've
Yeah.
been there a lot, and
Yep.
it's a blueberry patch. So if you want to,
If you want to stay in a
yeah,
very nice, if you want nice accommodations, we got the Blueberry Farm. Yep.
that's the
And that's
place.
that's about 15 minutes from the start of the race. 10 to
What?
15.
30. I
Is it?
would say,
Oh, because
yeah.
it's in South
Is it
Brookfield. You're right.
South
Yep.
Brookfield
Yep.
or Central? Yeah.
Yeah.
It is South Brookfield, I think,
Yeah.
yeah, on the
Yeah.
map. So yeah, I'd say 30,
Yep. Okay.
but still not bad. Well worth it. Okay, so we're gonna be putting a trail map on the website.
Well, hold on a second. Before we get off of the
Yeah,
accommodations, I was going to mention Airbnb.
yeah.
If people want to come in and Airbnb somewhere, you can look in Brookfield or Waterville. Those are
Okay.
2 nearby towns. Brookfield would be perfect because it's so close. You'd be
Mhm.
only a few minutes away. But probably the best bet would be Hamilton.
Oh, wow. Yeah, sure.
The city of Hamilton is actually only 15 minutes from the start of the race, and they will have a lot of. That's a college town. They've got a lot of Airbnb options,
Mhm.
so that's a good spot. And also, if people need, they should probably know coming into this that, like you said, this race is kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's out in the state lands. The nearest grocery stores and the nearest gas stations are about 15 miles away.
Well, no, in Brookfield, they have them.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's maybe 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then if you want to get to like a price chopper or something, that would be Hamilton, about a 15-minute
Yeah.
drive. Yep.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the Brookfield General Store, you're not going to have a lot of choices.
Right.
You have survival stuff.
Yep.
And they do have gas there, but you're right. If you need like a grocery store or anything,
Yep. So just don't pull into the race with an empty gas tank.
yes. Yeah, we'll be pushing you back. So No, that's all good. Yeah, Airbnb, that's a great choice. Trail maps, we're gonna put that on soon. Bob did a Strava segment. He didn't post it yet
Mhm.
or label it as a segment, so we're gonna have it on Strava.
Oh, perfect. Okay,
Once we make sure it's exactly, which I think we're good with that.
good.
FKTs were gonna be posted soon, fastest known times. Just give people something to chase.
Yeah, yeah, we'll get out there and we'll run the course a few times
Yep.
and be able to put some details on the website about like show some pictures of some of the more difficult sections.
Yeah.
Give people some ideas of like what we're running the course in, so they know what to expect time wise.
Yeah.
What I was going to tell people time wise is if you're doing the 15K, if you're a regular 15K runner, like let's say you do the Utica Boilermaker, which is in
Mhm.
our area, I would think whatever you do the Boilermaker in, add about 30 minutes. And that's probably what you would do our 15K in. Does that
Yeah,
seem about right?
I think that's spot on. So I can just give an example. I don't know what I would run the road 15K in now, only because I'm just getting back into it. But let's say 80 minutes, probably
Mhm.
reasonable, I
Sure.
would
Yeah.
think.
I think you could do that easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the first time I did the 15K Brookfield Classic loop, it was 2 hours and 2 minutes.
So you added 40 minutes then to
Yep,
the Boilermaker
yep,
time.
yep,
Yep.
yep.
So I would say, yeah, add 30 to 40 minutes to your Boilermaker time just to give you an idea of what to expect time wise on this.
Definitely harder
Yeah.
conditions because of the elevation and then just the footing,
And the terrain.
and the
Yep.
terrain. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good, yeah, I think that's right. I'd say 40. And then I just did it in 154. So I knocked off a little bit.
So there you go. Half an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um, let's see. Oh, if you're interested in volunteering, let us know. We're gonna need some people to help, with turns and certain
And let me
things.
just say, like the volunteers really make these events.
I agree.
I was just in that ultra marathon this past weekend, and I can't tell you how much gratitude I have and how much I appreciate the volunteers. Like they're so supportive and so encouraging, and you need friendly faces out there, like just kind of lifting your spirits and cheering you on.
Yep.
So if anybody out there who has a nice positive demeanor wants to help the athletes and the runners,
Yes.
we really really need that, and it's very much appreciated by everyone. You will be you will be some of the most loved people out there if you volunteer.
I don't know what it is, but you are so right. Like the ham track that I
Mhm.
did, which was a very short event, but that just the people
Yeah,
along the course are like, yeah, great job.
and
That gives you that little boost, little boost, little
yep,
boost. And,
sometimes it's a
they're,
really big
it's
boost.
a big boost. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. And yeah, there was some great, yeah, volunteers at that race too.
yeah,
I was running into some of them. So trail running versus road. For people listening that are just used to the road, I would prepare a little bit for trail running.
yeah.
You know,
I've got some notes on the train here. I
okay,
was gonna say, the course is almost entirely truck trails and horse trails.
yep,
The truck trails are wide enough for vehicles, obviously, although there's really no traffic out there ever. The horse trails are narrower, maybe like two people wide kind of thing.
yeah. It ranges from, yeah. There's some single track stuff up to 4 people wide. It
Right.
all depends.
Yep. The running surface, it's mostly hard packed dirt,
Yep,
but some areas will have like loose stone and gravel,
yep.
possible mud and water depending
Hmm.
on the recent weather,
Hmm.
possible, well, almost certainly some potholes
Hmm.
in certain areas from like
Hmm.
horse prints and things like that.
Yep.
So I would say that the terrain varies from non-technical to slightly technical.
For sure.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. Great point.
Yeah.
Not highly technical. We're not
Right.
scaling rocks or anything like
Yep.
that. But there's a lot of like ankle twisters and
Yeah.
different
So
things, especially on the horse
you
trails.
pay attention to your footing on the horse trails and on like some of the steep uphills and downhills and stuff.
Hmm.
But for the most part, it's pretty non-technical and you don't have to worry too much.
Yep, fully agree. What else do you have?
Well, the vertical gain, you've already mentioned that. I would say overall, this would be considered a hilly course.
Yeah, definitely. By the what does it come out to be? I think it's like 155 feet per mile gain. I think that what it
Is
comes
it?
out to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's considered hilly, not
Yep.
mountainous, but hilly.
Right. Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. Um, and the scenery I mentioned also, like the whole thing is beautiful forests, and
Hmm.
we're doing this in mid-September, so you get like the orange, yellow, and red leaves. I mean, it's going to be absolutely incredible out there.
Yep.
Several streams and ponds that you run by,
Yep.
including the beautiful pond that we have the finish at.
Yep.
Um, Yeah. So I mean, just enjoy nature. It's going to be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, you could get addicted to trail running.
Yep. Yep.
That's my preference now. I'll do the road. Like I ran road on Sunday,
Oh, trail running is
but trail
always the
running
most
is
fun by
just
far.
by far for sure.
Yeah. And it's easier on your body too.
For sure. Big time.
Uh, do we have two aid stations? Is that?
So there's be one at the start line
Yep.
because but then there would be one at Woodland Pond where the finish will be for the ultra.
Mhm.
And then yes, we'll pop one more out there. Because if they go from the finish line at Woodland all the way back around to start, it would be like almost 7 miles, be
So
six and a
so let's
half
say
without
someone's doing
anything.
let's say someone is doing the 15K one loop.
Yep.
They get to their first aid station after
About 2.7.
2.7 miles,
Yep.
and then
One more.
after that it's just the finish, right? Or the
Uh
station.
No, I'm thinking one more.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
all right.
thinking after they do that, the upper loop and they
Mhm.
come down and they hit Brown Road and where they're going to hang that right.
Nice. Okay.
I'm thinking something there
Excellent.
because that loop is that's a good climb and a good
And that
downhill.
would be at what distance, roughly?
So you'd be 2.7 and then another, yeah, halfway. Actually, it would be
Right around 6
four.
miles or something?
Well, after you crest the top of that loop, it's 4.5. So yeah, I would say you're about five and a quarter, five and a half in at
So
the
that's
bottom of
nice.
that loop.
So for a 9 mile run, you've got an aid station at roughly three
Yep.
miles, and then another one at roughly six, a little before that. Yep. Okay, perfect.
So it should
And then
be,
you're doing that same loop three times for the 50K. So you've got plenty of aid stations. Yep.
I would,
Nice.
yeah, yep. I think that's what we're due. I know some people have said that we might not need that one on Brown, but I don't know.
We might not need it, but we'll
Yeah, we'll
we'll take
see
a look
how
this summer and
as
see. We'll
volunteers and
make
stuff.
sure the aid stations are properly spaced so that people can refuel and rehydrate.
It's not bad if you have to go six and a half.
That's
Like
not a big
like
deal.
the course you just did was every 5.
Yeah,
So six, and that was a 50 miler.
right.
Like if you have to go six and a half, like
No,
it's not.
running a 10K without an aid station is fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, we're gonna have one or well, no, we're gonna have two or three for
Yep.
sure. Cool. What
I
else you got?
well, I wrote just that runners are advised to have, not that this is any of this is necessary, but appropriate footwear for trails. So we're either trail running shoes, hiking boots, or just whatever you don't mind getting muddy and
Sure.
dirty. Maybe a water bottle to carry on the course, especially if you're doing the ultra. Like we have all these aid stations and stuff, but it could be nice just to have a water bottle with you.
I want to
Um,
comment on that.
and even like maybe a backpack or a fanny pack or something if you want to carry snacks with
Yeah, especially for the ultra. I've never done that distance, but I did 12
you. Mhm.
there a few weeks ago, and I bonked at mile 10,
Yeah, yeah.
and it was I was severely like dehydrated.
Yeah, you had like no, did you have like 12 ounces of water for a 12-hour run?
It
It was
was
like 80 degrees.
20 ounces, 80 degrees, and it was 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And the last 2 miles, I was like
You had
dead.
almost no food. Yeah.
Yeah, and no food. So like, don't be me. So if you are new to that, the 50K distance, be prepared.
Yep.
Like understand some nutrition, electrolytes, sugar intake.
Mhm.
Like there's a long day out there, and it's a science to a degree. I don't have it
Mhm.
remotely figured out, but if you are, don't just think that you can blast through for 6 to 8 hours because you will hit a wall for
Yeah,
sure.
don't wait until you're already dehydrated to drink.
That's what I
Don't
did.
wait
I
until you're
stopped
already
sweating.
hungry to eat. Yeah.
Not good.
Be proactive with your hydration and nutrition.
For sure. And those vests, the Solomon vests, the
Oh,
one that you and
incredible
Bob have,
hydration vest.
yeah,
Yep.
hydration vests. Yeah, maybe spend $100 and get one of those because I have run like with a backpack, and it's a nice backpack.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
fitted, it's a good backpack, but it's not meant for running.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, it's gonna bounce around and stuff.
so prepare for that. Yep.
And then I also said that the course will be well marked. We're going to
Mhm.
flag it. We're going to put flags along the whole trail, and then some additional signage at like the crux turns, just to make sure nobody takes a wrong turn or anything.
Yep.
Is there a possibility that there might be horses out there on that day?
Oh, that's a great point.
Yep.
Yes.
So these are
Maybe.
these are horse trails, and there's a lot of people who own horses in the area,
Yep.
and they do horseback riding on these trails all the time.
Yep.
So we have not shut down these trails. They're not closed off for the day just for our event. So you
Yes.
never know. You might run by someone on horseback out there. So be
Yeah.
mindful of that and respectful of the fact that we don't have like sole rights to this course. Like it's for everyone to enjoy.
Great point. I'm glad you brought that up. There is no horse events going on,
Right.
but they could still be there.
Yep.
And so just either walk past them quietly or jog past them, be respectful. It's a huge animal. The last thing you want is them to buck off the rider.
Right.
I don't think it's going to play much of an issue. I was there a few weeks ago and they actually had a horse event. I didn't know until I got there.
Okay.
And they were doing a horse endurance ride. It
Oh, did
was
you
a
say there were hundreds or
no, I would say
dozens?
probably, yeah, 30, 35.
Okay.
They were doing a 30 mile, a 60 mile, and a 90-mile endurance ride. And like literally the whole time I was out there on and off, I was like running with horses. It was really cool. And they were super nice and they were not in the way. And we were like talking. So it was nice. But just understand like you could run
I have to
across that
imagine on a beautiful weekend in September, there's going to be a few of them out there.
for sure.
But just, I would say, just expect to see a few horses. Yeah, that's part of the
Yeah. Yeah.
cool.
Dodge the horse patties and
Yeah,
go on. Another thing they reminded me of littering.
yeah,
So we will do a sweep, obviously, when it's done, probably the next day. But let's not trash by any means. Like put your, garbage in your pocket.
yeah. We're
You
gonna,
know,
stand by the whole leave no trace
yes.
ethics that's so important in state parks and in
Yep.
nature.
Yep.
Don't throw your litter on the ground. We're gonna have garbage cans and stuff, and yep, keep
And
the place
we
clean.
we had to get approved to do this, and so that means annually I have to go back and do that same process.
And if,
So if I
yeah,
ruin that, then we're not going to do that again. It's not on private property, and we
right.
wouldn't want to litter that either. Um, but it's important to do our best, with that for sure. Let's see. Anything else?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the only last note I had is like, why run it at all? And I just had written things down like, obviously the physical health, get out and move your body, but mostly like mental health and social aspect. It's just going to be a really fun day. Everyone's going to be in a great mood out
Hmm.
to have an adventure and enjoy the day.
Yep.
You're going to be able to unplug and appreciate nature,
Yep.
which is so important. Overcome a unique challenge. A lot of people, maybe you've never gone 15K before or done an ultra, might be your
Hmm.
first one.
Yep.
For me this past weekend, it was my first one. And like,
How good did that feel?
oh, absolutely incredible. Like, and
Yeah.
it's like something that you don't know if you can do, and you're going to go out and see if you can do it. And what
Hmm.
a sense of an accomplishment you get at the end.
Yep.
Um, and then just the social component, like you're going to meet friends out there,
Yep.
chatting with people. We got the post race party and stuff. So
And people always saying like they wish this area had more things. Well, here we go.
yeah,
There aren't many road races here, or I'm sorry, trail races or road races, but this is highly unique.
not many trail races at all, and no marathon or ultra marathon distance. So
Yep.
highly unique and something fun to do. So
Yep. Make a weekend out of it.
yep,
On the same token, I had this written down. If you're on the fence, do it. The only way to truly feel a sense of accomplishment in life is finishing something difficult and worthwhile.
yeah.
I've realized that. There's a lot of things now that I've said yes to that leading up to it, I was like, oh man, I don't know. But those are the best feelings
Oh my god, yeah,
after you get through that.
yep.
And so, yeah, you want to have a good feeling about yourself. You sign up for something that scares you
I
slightly
was
and
just
then
gonna
do it.
say, if the thought of this race kind of makes you nervous, that's a really good thing.
Mhm.
Like those are the kind of things you want to sign up for because those are the things you feel the best about finishing.
Oh, yeah.
Um, eh, yeah. I mean, my ultra that I just did, I had no idea if I could finish it, and that nervous excitement like made it so worthwhile and so fun, and
Yeah,
turns it into an adventure. So
for
come out and
sure.
have an adventure with us on September 16th.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's no bad performance, right? You're
Oh,
out there trying to do something new
yeah.
or not new and just do the best you can,
Yep. Absolutely.
Another reminder, sign up with a friend. If
Yes.
you're flying solo, whether it's a family member or a friend, do it with someone or a
Mhm.
group of people. Reach out and encourage them. You can be the example to say, come on, like, let's do this,
Yeah.
let's see. Yeah, awesome day. And
If
that's
you're
it.
if you're someone doing the ultra marathon, maybe have a couple of your friends do the 15K if they're not up for that, and then they
Sure.
can help you out and cheer you on for your last couple laps.
15K, like we said, is the one loop. The Ultra is a 3.25-ish loops, but you're going to be all together. So
Yeah.
that's cool too.
Yep.
Like you're going to start at the same time and you're going to be part of that group. You
Mhm.
may even, depending on your 15K time, run into a second looper
Yeah,
on the
sure.
Ultra because they could be cruising, some of them. So that's huge. Like, you don't know who you're going to bump into.
Yeah.
So the sign up co-movement.com/Brookfield Classic. Get in there, do it sooner than later.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. So yeah, if anyone's interested in sponsoring, providing anything that you think would be of value, let us know. We're going to be reaching
Absolutely.
out to some companies for some things. We already have a few people committed to some really awesome things
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I'm very grateful for. So yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm really excited for this. I think it's gonna be a super fun day.
It's the first year. We'll be doing this in 10 more years, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. We're signing off. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
One last message. I ask that you please check out our show sponsors, Lombardi Chiropractic, Home Sweet Home Cleaning, Native Path Supplements, and Thin Line Martial Arts. Their links are in the description. Not only do these companies produce outstanding products and services, but they are providing an enticing discount to all listeners who use the code COMO15. That's COMO15 at checkout or when you give them a call.